And maybe it's just me who's like a little bit chaotic and a tornado and doesn't do well with organizing their own notes, but I feel that the iPad honestly just helps so much. Hi Slayers, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Eileen, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about if you need an iPad or a laptop for college. I know some of you might be starting college very soon, and I just wanted to give you a couple of thoughts I have on both machines because I've used both for the last year of college and for a couple years throughout high school, and I wanted to tell you if I think both are worth it, if I think you should get just one versus the other, and a couple of nuances in between. So starting off, here is my iPad, an iPad Air 4, and just this, no keyboard or anything, just the pencil and a regular iPad screen. I got my iPad for a very specific reason, and it was to take notes because I'm such a mess when I take notes and I just lose the notes and I run out of room. But especially in math, I just need so much paper that I almost need infinite paper. And so getting an iPad allowed me to do that. And I'm very, very grateful for having the iPad when I did. It really helped in all of my math classes and keeping me more organized and having just a lot more room to work out problems. So if you are someone that struggles in math or struggles with note-taking in math, I highly recommend getting the iPad. For college, it's very helpful. I do a bunch of practice tests on there. I did all of my econ notes on there, all of my statistics notes. It's been very, very helpful. I will say that having an Apple ecosystem in particular is super helpful. The way that the iPad syncs with the Mac is just so fast and very helpful. So I will say that's a big pro. If you are someone who likes to take a lot of handwritten specific notes and you are wanting to save paper, the iPod. This is not 2005. You can go watch my other video for that. The iPad is a very good option for that. But I will say, if you love taking handwritten notes and you take a bunch of handwritten notes, it might not be for you. And I tend not to use my iPad in classes where it's super note heavy because the pencil is actually a little bit heavy and it starts to really hurt my hand after a while. So I found that I can't really use it for extended periods of long note-taking session. And when I do have a class that's very heavy on listening and lectures and note-taking, I tend to just use my computer and type those notes because it's a lot faster for me. Attempting to use the iPad as your laptop is a bit of a challenge. It does not have the same access to apps that a lot of laptops do. But I feel that it can be doable, and it might be especially good if you really just want to buy one single device that you can definitely write on and use as a writing device. If you're looking to use this as your primary device and you have the keyboard attachment also, it can be done. I will just say things just feel a little bit less motivating when I'm using my iPad to try to do heavy tasks. I feel that it just feels smaller. It feels a little bit fake almost, which I know is a really stupid thing to say, but I urge you to try it out in the Apple Store as much as possible before you get one, just to make sure that this is something that you can use in your workflow efficiently. For the most part, I would just say get a laptop first and then see if you need an additional iPad, not really get an iPad as your laptop. However, if you are a person that does not edit at all, you don't edit photos, you don't edit videos, which you can do on some iPad models, but for the most part, it's a lot better to have a laptop to edit on. So I'm saying if you're an editor, do not get the iPad as your only device. It will be much more helpful as a substitute because it can act as a second monitor and stuff like that, but it does not have the real capacity to edit big files. I would say get the iPad if you are a big reader and you like to mark up text. If you input a bunch of PDFs and stuff, you have a lot of reading for classes required, it's very helpful to just be able to put a PDF into GoodNotes and just write all over the PDF and make it yours. You of course could do that by printing out everything, but I feel like we're living in such a paperless age right now that having the iPad just makes it a lot more seamless between devices, and it also helps keep you engaged with your reading. So yeah, to sum it up, if you love to read and love to do math problems and you need a more organized space to do it, I would highly recommend getting an iPad to add as your additional note sources. If you're also really passionate about going paperless, the iPad is a great choice. Now, for getting a laptop, I absolutely recommend getting a laptop. It is just so easy to open up and have access to your whole like gradebook situation and also all of your classes and all of your notes. There are so many free online word processing devices that you can use. There's Word, there's Google Docs, there's Notion. There's so many things that you can use to take your notes. I also would just say it's a very like basic standard machine to have. Almost everyone on campus has a laptop, carries around a laptop just in case. I always carry my laptop with me. I also always carry my iPad. But in terms of usage, I like 70% of the time go for my laptop instead of my iPad. The laptop is just all encompassing to everything and is super, super easy to just flip open and use. So if it were me choosing again and I was going into college without either device, I would absolutely pick the laptop. And I honestly probably wouldn't pick the iPad because I just don't use it enough because my major is not STEM. If I was a STEM major, I would pick the iPad with the laptop because the amount of notes and like problems and practice tests that you can do all in one device is very, very helpful. And maybe it's just me who's like a little bit chaotic and a tornado and doesn't do well with organizing their own notes, but I feel that the iPad honestly just helps so much. And yeah, if you're on the fence about getting an iPad and you're scared you might not use it, there are also other options out there like a e-ink writer like to take notes if you're solely looking just to take notes on your iPad. But I would recommend trying to go on the Apple refurbished site and getting like one of the cheaper iPad models that supports Apple Pens. I honestly don't think that buying a new iPad is super, super important. Mine is a couple years old and I feel like it works fine. And yeah, that's basically it. I just wish that I had this video when I was buying my iPad because I spent a lot of money on it back when I first bought it, and it was like with my first job money. And I have gone through periods of regretting it and periods of really loving it, but for the most part, like knowing and understanding the difference between like what are you using this iPad for is super helpful. So I hope it helped you a little bit, and that is all I have for you today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye!